Welcome to our second virtual Remembrance Day service for Delisle Composite and elementary schools. We will begin with the playing of our national anthem. If everyone could please stand for O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patron thou, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. Good morning, honored veterans, Legion members, staff and students, families, and all those joining us online. Welcome to our annual School Remembrance Service. My name is Kate Wright, and together with Tori Trent and Sam Adams, we will be your MCs for this morning's service.
As we gather together each year, we keep the spirit of remembrance in our hearts. We do not celebrate war, but treasure the peace and freedoms that we have because of others sacrificed their lives and futures for ours.
Today, we honor our veterans and remember the sacrifice of all Canadians who served. We acknowledge that we are in Treaty 6 territory and as well honor the thousands of First Nations and Métis people who have served in every single one of Canada's wars. It is important for all of us, especially as young people, to remember our history. The collective memory of society can be a fragile thing. Memories can be lost over time, and so we must be vigilant as Canadians to ensure that history is preserved and passed down.
The symbol of the wreath represents a circle of eternal life. The greens represent strength, and the poppy is the symbol of remembrance. Each wreath represents a grade of students remembering the brave soldiers of the past who gave their futures for us.
I know you can't remember how to shine. Your heart's a bird without the wings to fly. Is anybody out there? Can you take this way?
day on the day of the fighting stopped in World War I. Peace came into effect at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month, 103 years ago. The last post is the trumpet call that is played at military funerals and remembrance services and indicates that a soldier has died. After the last post is played, please stand quietly for a minute of silence out of respect for our fallen soldiers. Then the reveal is played, which symbolizes that the soldier has entered into eternal rest. Everyone please stand.
Please be seated. They were young as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge, amid the winds of time, to carry their torch and never forget. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
The poem In Flanders Fields is an important part of remembrance services all over the world. It was actually written over 100 years ago by a Canadian soldier, surgeon, and poet, John McCrae. He wrote it after his 22-year-old friend was killed in battle. Today, it will be read by Samantha Ross.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours, hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We should not sleep, though poppies grow, in Flanders Fields.
World War I began in 1914, and it's sometimes hard to imagine how different life in Canada was 100 years ago. No running water, no electricity, no airplanes. Although the causes of World War I are complex, Canada joined in support of Britain and their allies. In muddy trenches in Europe, over 6,500 Canadians served in the war, with almost 60,000 of them dying. That meant 1 in every 11 soldiers. Every small town in Canada and Saskatchewan had young people who didn't come home and were buried somewhere in Europe.
After 4 long years of war, peace was signed on November 11, 1918. There was a short period of prosperity, but it wouldn't last. Most of the world was suffering from poverty and political tensions, and only 21 years later, the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis meant that World War II had begun. Canadians answered the call to protect our freedom again, with 1 million men and women volunteering from all over Canada. In 6 years of fighting, from 1939 to 1945, 45,000 would die overseas.
Unfortunately, Canadians would find themselves fighting another war only 5 years later. 26,000 Canadians served in the Korean War and 516 died. Although it was not on the global scale of the previous two wars, it established Canada as a country that was willing to work towards world peace. Canada continued that role as peacekeepers for many years in more than 35 countries. Although we were not fighting, Canadians were placed in many dangerous situations among fighting groups, and 130 Canadians were still killed. After the bombings on 9/11 in New York City, Canada fought in Afghanistan against the Taliban for 13 years. In that time, 158 Canadian soldiers died trying to bring peace and freedom to their country. The work for peace is not always peaceful, but we do our best to remember those sacrifices.
As young people, we are living in a much more connected world than we were 100 years ago. We are global citizens, instantly connected to people in other countries, and knowledgeable in issues affecting other parts of the world. We know that many countries are fighting internal civil wars and others have great strife and hatred amongst their own people. Today, at this very moment, Canadian soldiers are serving all over the world. So we also remember those Canadians who continue to serve and work towards peace in other parts of the world. One of the greatest fears of a soldier is that their efforts have been in vain, that we will forget the sacrifices that they made or the reasons that they made them. As a part of our pledge to remember, we have a few pieces of writing to share.
An innocent scarlet bloom, so far away in France, that listened to the gun boom and watched war's game of chance, saw young men perish weeping, bathed in pools of red, the same that now lies sleeping beneath the poppy's bed.
Thank you, veterans. Thank you for the job well done. Thank you for the battles won. Thank you for the battles fought. Thank you for the freedom bought. Thank you for the times you soared. Thank you for the freedom earned. Thank you, families, for sharing you. I know they miss you, they really do. I'm sorry for the lives that we lost. Freedom isn't cheap. It comes at a very high cost. I love my freedom. Thank you for all you do.
We have a short video to finish our program today. As you watch it, please remember that the freedoms we enjoy here in Canada were not free. The price was paid by men and women who left their families to fight for peace and justice, some who would never come home.
They were summoned from the hillside. They were called in from the glen, and the country found them ready at the stirring call for men. Let no tears add to their hardship as the soldiers pass along. And although your heart is breaking, make it can find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we go work it out. Move mountains. I'll rise up, I can say, and I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, and I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, we can walk it out. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, and I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. Oh. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we will rise. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Again and again and again.
As our program wraps up, remember that working for peace is not just the job of a soldier. It is up to each of us to work for peace in our own ways, in our own homes, in our schools, in our communities, and in the world beyond our communities. Please take the time to honor our veterans and remember their sacrifices, not only on Remembrance Day, but every day.
I'm a forgotten sailor, forsaken by time, drowned in the deep when I was in my prime, remembered by no one, I never was missed. I'm a forgotten sailor from the Battle of the Atlantic. A sailor has no grave, you can stand upon the shore, hear the breakers rolling on the tide forevermore. can't lay a flower bouquet on an ocean wave. You may mourn and cry, but a sailor has no grave.